It is very true that you can love your children, you can love your man, you can love your job, and it is also true that all of them things can get on your nerves, okay? It is also true that you can want to step away from those things and have your quiet time in your space. Both of those things can exist at the same exact time. It doesn't change the way that you love your family or your job or the wonderful things that you're doing in life. It doesn't change any of that.
Good, bad, breakthrough, baby. We having breakthrough moments. We on episode 27. It's your boy, Drew.
Hi, y'all. I'm Dreya.
Hey, y'all, it's Keena.
And we've been doing this for 27 episodes. Can we all clap? Jason, can we make some noise? Jason Hafer in the building. Is that cool with you?
That's
I got to
snap.
check with our tech guy. Clap, scream, shout, finger snapping. Can we put some music on this part? Can we do like a celebration? Hey! Thank you to all the listeners and all the followers and all the subscribers out there. Thank you for the people that are willing to be the authentic version of themselves and live a fulfilled life and allow us to be here to share valuable, impactful information. Just a big thank you to everybody. Man, Keena,
Yes.
you've been crushing it. You've been crushing the name game. Unlearn to learn. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've never
That
told you
was
this before.
the plan.
Go ahead.
Well, the first option I was choosing was it was too long, so that's why I just broke it down for that. Because at first it was gonna be the first one I typed in was um, conversations lead to choices to change, and change leads. I forgot something like that. Conversation leads to choices, and choices leads to change, or something like that that you had said on the last episode. But it was too long for me to put it into the thing and make it like big. So I put it to those three words.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, conversations lead to choices. Choices lead to change. And I love unlearn to learn. I get so excited about the little things, and I don't share this with people. But like, if I could share it on the pod, like Keena always titles our podcast after we do the pod, sometime between the time that she gets the video and does the edits and before we release it to y'all. And Keena, I look forward to seeing what you're going to label and title our podcast because I'm like, ooh, she just took 25 to 30 minutes and broke it down into 4 words or 3 words or five. You know what I'm saying? Like, I I love it. So I just want to give you your, as my $10 million man would say, I want to give you your roses while you're still here, and just let you know, like, man, it's the little things. Like, I look forward to seeing that name, and I never have any expectations. As you said on the last podcast, like, training your mindset to be not judgmental and developing character. I'm never disappointed. Like, the 27 episodes. Like, I just look forward to seeing what you gonna name it. So I appreciate you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, and I mean, having a practice of like not having expectations is also it's also a practice of acceptance and also a practice of non-judgment. And I think that we talked about that a little bit in the last episode. So just managing expectations is a really great way to manage suffering.
I've been having a lot of like aha moments over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Like, I'm having conversations with people, and Andrea, you and I, we all have developed a habit or behavior of somehow, some way, at some point in time, like reflecting on ourselves and our character, and the characteristics we are, and did we reflect who we wanted to be? Like, how I would identify me as a being. Was I that person today? And if not, where were the moments where I had different emotions, thoughts, or actions? But what I'm finding, Keena, is like I've been like processing more in the moment of my thoughts. And a lot of people that like I communicate with and that I uh, have conversations with over the last 2 or 3 weeks, like they'll give me a lot of information, and then I'll just sit there in silence and just look at them, and they'll be like, "What? Say something. What are you thinking? What do you got? Like, is it me? Like, hey, what, you know?" And I'll be like, "Oh, I'm thinking." But even in that moment of me thinking, not only am I thinking and am I absorbing the information they give me, I'm digging into a deeper level of subconscious awareness, and it's just really intriguing because I find when people are giving me all this information and then I'm taking time to not only receive it and then to listen, not listen to rebuttal, listen to respond, but I'm listening to listen, not only receive it, but then I'm also actually making time to think about the reasonings behind why I'm thinking about what I'm thinking about. And I know, Keena, when it comes to like the mindfulness and a lot of objective thinking and non-judgmental thoughts, like I think at some point in time to get to being not judgmental on your own self with your thoughts and not judgmental on other people. At some point in time in your life, you get to a point where like you are thinking about why you think about that, and maybe that's exactly what shadow work is. I don't know, but I just wanted to share it with you. I've been experiencing that, and it's been one heck of a journey. I'll tell you what, over the past couple of weeks.
Thank you for sharing that. I mean, I do think that what you're describing, it kind of sounds like you're going through like an evolution in the way that you're processing and synthesizing information. And so it's like it also kind of makes me think that when you listen to respond, it might be like that you're listening with your ego. But if you're listening to synthesize or listening to receive information, well, then that might be like, the other part of you that's not like your ego. And that's a different place that you're listening from because I had a wonderful episode that I just recorded today with Marie Justice. Her and I had a 3 hour conversation. It was like over 3 hours long. And we talked about so many things. And one of the things that we talked about was like the ego. We talked a lot about ego and how the ego prefers to be the ego is the one who wants to respond. The ego is the one who has something to prove. The ego, and it's not like to make the ego into a bad thing, like to not villainize the ego, but just to recognize who is listening right now. Is it ego or is it like we were calling it unchanging self or core self. That's what we called it because we could neither one of us really knew what the word was for like the non-ego self. But that's what it sounds like that you're saying, like as you are realizing that the way that you listen and receive information is changing, it sounds like you are learning to listen not from your ego but instead from your core unchanging self and whatever values that is rooted in.
I'm noticing that me changing the way I receive the information has been more often in my life, but now me changing the way I deliver the information, I feel like that's been more. Uh, I don't want to call it a new habit, but I'm noticing that now that I'm doing it both, now that I'm able to change the way I receive something to get a mutual understanding, now that I'm willing to change the way I send information to get a mutual understanding, now it's really bringing a level of awareness to like, you know, the controlling that thought and where it comes from, and even working on my level of pureness. I manifested this like a month ago, and I don't remember if I told you, Keena. I think I did, but Andrea knows this. Like I'm really working on when I'm in a moment with somebody for it just to be that moment, for it to be pure hearted. Not that I ever have, negative intent with anybody that I would love or work with, but I become so, I'm always like connecting behind connecting behind connecting behind connecting behind connecting. Like I got a billion plans for you, when you shake my hand. you know. So over the last couple of months, I've been working on just being pure, and I even had someone in the network come to me, the other day and was like, "I'm ready to leave my job," and I was like, "Okay." And then they go through the list of their variables, and then they're like, "So what do you think?" And I was like, "Well, let's pause. I'm willing to be a support person for you, and I want you to know whatever decision you make, I 1 billion% support. I don't want to have any influence, or your mom, or your dad, or your wife, or your husband. I don't want anybody to have influence of the decision that you support the most. You know what I mean? So I want to be objective. I was like, we can have a conversation, and I can be objective about it. I can remove my opinions and my feelings from it, and I just want to be that person for you. And
Yeah.
then, and only then, when you make a decision, after that decision's made, then if you want my help with different decisions, well, then I got a million. I got a million ways to help you. But first, we gotta figure out what do you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
Yeah.
just been a very interesting journey, and I feel like a lot of people around me have really started identifying like things that they want to change, and even Bay, Andrea, oh my gosh, Bay, I don't take enough time to remove myself from you and the day to day and the week to week and the month to month, Bay, like the the things that you decide to work on. This is a shout out to Andrea. The things that Andrea decides to work on, she always makes the decision to do it. The things that she is identifies as something that she wants to do differently, she always identifies it. And I just want to like shout out to you, Bay, for being for developing that courage to have that voice that you speak with, and for you to speak your own existence into being, and for you to speak into the things that you want to work on. Hey, I just want you to know I'm so proud of you for you doing that. And that's a you thing. You don't have anybody else in your life, and I know I'm not one, or the kids aren't one to be like, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to work on that. That's not a family that we're founded on. And it's so cool to hear our family be together and just self-identify and know that we're so aware of our own beings. It's been a beautiful, beautiful journey, and I haven't taken time out to tell you that. So I just want you to know I think our families become a beautiful. What did we say last week or the week before? A beautiful mess. It's beautiful, babe, and everybody's identifying within themselves what they wanna be, and it's just I feel very grateful as a parent, as a fiance, as a father, as a youth mentor, as a business leader, as a business coach. I feel very grateful that I'm starting to see a lot of people identify within themselves what they want to work on.
Thank you so much. I receive all of that. Before we get to before I dive into that, I do want to go back and highlight that when Keena talked about listening to receive and listen to respond, that you've really I want to highlight the fact that when you have a conversation or when somebody's sharing information with you, I pay close attention to how you respond and all of your body language and what you say. But every time somebody's getting ready to give you information, the first thing you say is, I'm listening to receive. And I don't know if you notice that, but you do it every single time I share information with you. Every time Alicia from Fitcherbrook Farm shares information with you when I hear you on the phone. Every time Alicia shares information with you, or even Anthony, those are the first things that you say. And so I know that you've taken everything that you said that you want to work on, and you've truly been working on that. So I just want to highlight that I've noticed that with you recently.
Thank you, Bay. I appreciate hearing that.
Was you gonna say something else, Drea, that he had asked you about, or no?
I was talking to the kids today, and Wednesdays are now my day off, or my days to be home with baby. And the more that I've been spending time with the family and talking to you and connecting with Andrew, um, I have identified a lot of the things that I know that I haven't been doing in the past, but I've just been like, you know what? The more I'm at home, the more I'm with the kids, the more with my family, the more I'm podcasting or talking with Keena and Andrew, I realize that there are more important things outside of work that I need to be working on, that I need to complete, that I need to start. And I think that's what Andrew is. I think that's where he got that from. And so it was just one of those aha moments for me while I was spending time with family. Keena, I did want to talk to you, not about last week's episode, but the week before that, or the episode where you and I were on there.
Uh-huh.
I had sent a link to one of the friends that I have from work, and because she was like, I want to listen to the podcast, and I told her that there's a bunch of episodes that I wasn't on, but I still wanted her to listen because she'd take a lot of valuable information from it. So she sent me a text message today and said that she loved it, and then she gave me some feedback from her sister who was like, I felt like on the last one that Dreya and her friend were on together, I felt like Dreya did a lot of complaining, and I was like, oh, like I don't know if I could see where she would perceive that, but I was like, I don't think that I complained. I was, because people that know me know that I love my family, I love my job. When I'm happy, I'm the happiest when I'm exercising and all of that stuff. And I was just sharing with her, like, I don't feel the need to explain to her that I wasn't complaining, but what I wanted her to know was that being a new mom all over again and trying to balance, being a supervisor and being a full-time mom and being a full-time student, that is stressful, and I don't know how to manage it now with all of the transitions that we've gone through within the year, compared to how I used to manage it. And so I was like, I was in no way, shape, or form complaining. It was just me saying, hey, these are the things that I do day to day. And there I was asking you, because who better than asking you? Because you've balanced almost everything that you do. You've made time for it. You've done the time management. Um, you've taken things off of your plate um, that you didn't feel that you needed any more type of thing. And so I came to you with that because I value your feedback and I wanted some input for you, but I just wanted to put that out there that I was in no way, shape, or form complaining about my family and my job and all of those things. It was just me saying, hey, I need a little help. I need some ideas on how to manage these better. So
And you know what? First of all, I just want to say thank you again for being so vulnerable on that episode, and for sharing like the experiences that you have been going through and not being silent about them for the sake of somebody might judge you for the experience, your real experience that you're living. It is very true that you can love your children, you can love your man, you can love your job. And it is also true that all of them things can get on your nerves. Okay. It is also true that you can want to step away from those things and have your quiet time in your space. Both of those things can exist at the same exact time. It doesn't change the way that you love your family or your job or the wonderful things that you're doing in life. It doesn't change any of that. I think that, I don't know the person who internalized listening to you share the things that you were trying to figure out how to balance. I don't know them, but I would imagine that they were triggered by that because maybe they don't have a safe space to express the things that they're going through, and that perhaps they have started to think to themselves, I need to just be quiet and deal with it, because that's what we are often taught and told. And what you were doing, and even if you were complaining, that's okay too. Okay. I technically wouldn't call it complaining because we were problem solving. We were coming to a solution. And then I like to tell people that in order to before you can get to the problem solving stage, you really have to listen to somebody and really understand the circumstances that they're dealing with, because otherwise, if you do try to give them advice or try to give them guidance, you are approaching them from a place of ignorance. And so, who is going to be open to receiving information from somebody who is ignorant to the experience that they're trying to resolve? So, I would encourage that person to please find somebody who you can listen to when when the life that you enjoy also feels extremely intense and you're trying to figure out how to manage those things. I really hope that that person and that anybody listening who internalizes and is triggered by that, I hope that you can find a safe space to be able to express yourself so that you can empty out the overwhelm, so that you can get it out, so that you can then start to, just like we talked about last week with the jar episode, so that you can start to put in the things that you actually want to put in. You can be intentional about curating your life. That's my response for that.
Thank you for that, Keena.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna hit him. I'm gonna hit him with the I receive all of that. And Andrea started that on the last pod when it was woman one and woman one. You know what I'm saying? And I just love that we're all here in our auras to receive information and to recite it. This good bad breakthrough, baby. This is what we about. It's episode 27.
Wait,
you can find us.
Wait. I want to say one more thing. Thank you to the person who did give the feedback, because I'm sure that if there were other people who felt like that, then I really hope that they recognize that if there's something, whenever you feel bothered by something, if you ever are irritated or bothered by something, the real important thing is to ask yourself, what is being triggered inside of me right now to make me receive this as an unpleasant stimulus, or as like something that I'm placing that I'm assigning a label, a title, a judgment, a value to, whether it's good or not. I'm gonna say whether it's good or bad, but what I'm gonna say is whether it feels pleasant or unpleasant. Okay, those are important things for us to be aware of, just as we're navigating through life the way we do.
I love it. Good bad breakthrough, baby. Episode 27. You can find us on all YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. You can find us on all platforms, and you can even find us on Amazon Music, Anchor, Pocket Cast, and Audible. Yo, episode 27. Holla back.
Thanks, y'all. Thank you, everybody, for listening and tuning in.
Holla.